Hi and welcome to Stamping with Linda, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today is my 8th in my series, What's Up for Stampin' Up! And so let's get started. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of the coordination cardstock. We had previewed coordination cardstock in a couple of the smaller catalogs, but now in the bigger catalog you can buy them in an assortment of all of our different colors. I have chosen for this card the in colors. So this is the Costa Cabana, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the decorative label collection frameette and I'm going to place that about right there, placing it on my magnetic platform. I'm going to run that through. Always find it's best to cut my design out with my frameette first, because I don't know if you can see it on the video, but you kind of get an indent there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my regular platform, and I'm going to use my fancy frame folder, and I only want that to be part of the way on my card. So kind of get that lined up best I can, like so, leaving some out. Bring in my cutting mat and run that through the Big Shot. And what happens when you run the embossing folder with your coordination cardstock, it breaks those fibers up. So now I can go in with my sander and sand and I'm going to show through that white core. Need to be careful if your sanding block is new that you don't rip your paper. So you can see the pretty white core to that. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my sticky strip, and I'm going to put a strip right along where I used the embossing folder. Cannot get enough of my stretch trim in the new in colors. So you've got 5 different colors of the ruffled stretch trim, and because I am using the Costa Cabana, that is the color trim I'm going to use. So go in with my trim. This just adds a nice border to separate where I didn't put my embossing folder down to. So I'm going to cut that off. Next, what I'm going to be using is the stamp set that is a hostess set. This is the Simply Sketched, and I'm just really liking that. There's a bird with some grass, but I love this flower. I'm going to take a scrap piece of white cardstock and stamp that. Oops. I'm also going to go in with my butterfly and on a scrap piece of paper, stamp the butterfly, and then with my greeting, this with heartfelt sympathy is also from that same hostess set. If you do a $150, oops, got a little shadowing there, so we're just going to flip that card over. If you spend $150 or get a book workshop going, you can get this stamp set, this Simply Sketched, for just $10. If you have not checked out the pretty hostess sets in this catalog, you need to do that, because I think they're the prettiest we've had in some time. Now going to go in with the elegant butterfly, punch and punch that out. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the back side where I did the label, and I'm going to use dimensionals. The reason I'm using dimensionals is because of the texture from embossing. I'm going to pull those up, and then I'm just going to take my scrap piece of paper and line up accordingly. Got my flower. I'm going to go back in with those dimensionals. I like to use all the excess from the dimensionals, so it gives me a bigger dimensional to put on. Remove those. Next, I'm going to go into the main base of my card, which is Whisper White. Going to pull in my Stampin' trimmer, and I'm going to score that at the 4 1/4. I was never a big person to use my bone folder when I scored my cards, but with the new trimmer, boy, it really makes a difference in your cards when you use that scoring tool. My paper is hanging out just a little bit. That extra piece of paper back there that I did my flower on, so I'm going to trim that like so. I'm going to go in with my sympathy. Remember, I got a line on that, so I used the back side. So there I've got like so. Now I'm going to go in with my blender, and I'm just going to highlight. It has been a while since I actually stamped that, so I'm going to open up my ink pad, go in with the blender on that excess ink, and just get some highlights. Those of you that know me know that I normally don't like to color, so this is about the extent of my coloring. Just some highlights like so. Going to go in with my dazzling details and just add some details to this. I'm taking a scrap piece of paper to get that details flowing out good, so I don't get a glob where I don't want it. And I also need to put my butterfly on there. Just going to go back into dimensionals and grab a dimensional and add that to my card. There you have a fun card done with What's Up with Stampin' Up! As we previewed the Coordination Cardstock, a Hostess set, and the new decorative label up frameette and the ruffled trim. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you real soon.